Welcome to the Droid Ask Me Anything live stream. So we're going to be hanging out for the next hour or so, and you can just ask me anything about your usage with droids. And I'm going to actually just be covering this today with us using it inside of Cursor. So I have droids set up inside of Cursor. I know some people have been playing around with this for the last 3 weeks. I did a whole live stream 3 weeks ago, and there's a bunch of really great content, around kind of shipping some features and so forth. There have been a lot of updates lately, and I know people have had updated configurations and even new models have come out. So like the latest models that have come out, if we just go to /model, and we'll see that they now have the Droid core, which is the JLM 4.6. And now you can actually just use it for a quarter of the cost. So if you have like 20 million tokens, you can just now times that by 4, which is kind of insane, right? And then you can also choose Haiku, which is cost 0.4, and then Opus, which costs 6 times the amount. And you can use GPT-5 for half the amount, and then Codex for also half the amount. So that means if you just have 20 million tokens to sign up with, then you get 40 million tokens. You get 40 million tokens, you get more than that. And so that's just the number of, as far as like standard token use and so forth. And if you're still kind of wondering like what Droid is all about, Factory's Droid is basically their own AI agent harness. And think of this as like Cursor's agent or any other agent. When you select the model, this is kind of what they do on behalf. And what's happening is the fact that like they're scoring higher on a lot of these terminal benchmarks, which is how these AI agents communicate in the terminal. And that's the primary use case that a lot of these agents operate, and they do really well for SWE-like tasks. And it turns out if you have these AI agents inside of your terminal and they start doing these requests and can kind of read this stuff out, because they're good at reading text, they're probably better at performing coding tasks than they are looking at specific, GUI interfaces and trying to parse out what's kind of going on. And so what's been really fascinating here is that they've been not only been scoring and outbeating Claude Sonnet and Claude Code in their own like coding thing, but also GPT-5 in their own CLI as well with Codex, and also in Agent Arena. So in Agent Arena, Factory GPT-5 Codex is outscoring the GPT-5 Codex here. And so Agent Arena basically means that like other people are giving their requests and they're getting results, and they basically vote on, which one's better. And so that's actually extremely fascinating here. And I just thought, let's just go ahead and take a look a little bit deeper today and try to ship some features, because basically that's kind of what I'm working on right now. The stuff that I'm working on, this app is called Anime Leak. And so what Anime Leak does is you can upload a photo of yourself and it'll actually choose a specific element to be transformed. And so it feels like anime is actually kind of leaking into your environment, which is really cool. So here I am holding up my paddle for my outrigger canoe, and you can kind of see like you have this cool whimsical drawing. All of this is powered by Nano Banana, and I want to make some final image optimizations. And yesterday we were on the live stream and I was coding with Cursor and we're trying out the new plan mode. So I had it make an updated plan about my image pipeline and do some optimizations here. And this is kind of what it's identified. Like I was telling it about some regressions and having some conversations, and I thought this would be a good use case to see how we can have this plan from Cursor implemented using Droid and see what the results are. I think it'd be kind of interesting to see how we approach this. And I want to walk you through. If you have any questions, I appreciate anyone who's already popping in to say hello, say hi. I will feature you here, and I'll stop and make sure I answer your questions. So we're just going to hang out for the next hour or so before I have to head out to my next meeting. And just appreciate you kind of hanging out on this type of Sunday and just figuring out what you're up to and what you're building. In Cursor, what I also asked it to do is generate an architecture diagram. Some of these are really important, mostly for me, but also so I can review plans and specs to make sure they're kind of following along their various things. And in this case, basically we had it up. This is my current implementation. It's like when a user uploads an image, it goes through this specific library here, and it basically converts it to WebP if needed, and it'll compress it if it's over 1 megabyte. So sometimes users can upload bigger images, and I don't want to send that off to my servers and eat up bandwidth. So that's kind of what we'll be working with there. From there, we'll upload it to convex storage, and then from there, we'll then call the next thing for the backend to call Google Gemini's models. So there's an upload and schedule generation, and there's also a generate image function, and they do these various things here. So it's kind of nice that it actually broke down what my function does in plain English. And, this is usually what you're doing when you're skimming through the code. You're looking at, okay, what is it doing? It's going to validate the storage blob, check that the user has credits, deduct one, and then it's going to do this type of thing. So this kind of helps you logically think through things, which I really appreciate. So I'm just kind of going over the plan and its little bit details. I also like that it has this cool arrow here. You can kind of see that. It just kind of shows you that like, okay, this is kind of what we're doing. And then from there, it passes in. And this is the regression that I'm having is because when it does a user query, the current filter is only looking for the stuff that's generated, and it's actually missing when stuff is pending or originals aren't showing. So basically, as soon as you upload the image, it looks like nothing's happening. So we need to kind of account for that. And that's kind of why I had a plan generated to figure out what issues we're having and just make sure that we're still optimizing the images as well. So this plan is pretty extensive. This is generated by Cursor, and it even has this testing checklist. So I just thought, hey, let's just throw this into Droid and see if we can have something cool happen out of this. So I'm just going to go ahead and type in Droid here in the terminal, and we're going to go ahead and do that. So right now it's currently running GPT-5 Codex Auto. And since it scored the highest, I'm just going to see if I can give it this plan. So I'm going to say at simplify image plan. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is turn it to spec mode. So shift tab, spec, research and plan only. Please review and let's work on implementing the first phase of this plan. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to have Droid kind of kick that off. And it'd be really interesting to kind of see what it reads up on, because this is actually broken into phases for the plan. I think, yeah, phase 1 is basically to fix the regression for the reactivity. And then phase 2, the implement optimistic UI pattern. And then phase 3 is the Next.js image optimizations. And then phase 4 is like performance and stuff. And 5 is for code review changes. So what's nice about, I think somebody was asking about, does the Droid, like, do you have to manage context? Because it doesn't show me any context down below. So it doesn't say I'm using X amount of X tokens and so forth. So with Droid, what's happening is basically that they're kind of managing that for you. And so they're pulling apart and kind of unfolding and taking the right things in and feeding it to the language model at the right time. So you may notice that you can actually have longer conversations with one session in Droid and not really have to think about it too much, which I actually really appreciate. And so it says it's kind of going through the plan, updating progress. So the design phase 1 is kind of going through here. And so the reason why I started in spec mode, even though I had a plan from Cursor, is that I want to get really clear in terms of whenever you're handing off plans between 2 different agent providers, I think each one has kind of tuned their own planning for their own implementations. And so by starting with spec mode and say, hey, let's just work on phase 1, we're now like, think about pulling your ingredients out from a refrigerator. You're like, okay, I have the recipes. Let me just now make a dedicated table to kind of spread this out and kind of make sure that we have everything before we start cooking, literally. And so that's kind of the way I'm treating this, like as a mental model. And that's probably what you're going to be seeing here. So let's go ahead and see how this is. So as of now, we're going to review the regression and we're going to implement the steps, which is the in here, keep the existing query. And okay, cool. So reuse existing batching, align, and then upload the image and confirm. Okay, cool. So we're just going to go ahead and proceed and just allow all commands because YOLO. Okay, cool. So now the plan's going to get going. Oh, Gemini 3.0 dropped in Ella Marina. That'd be interesting. Dude, if Gemini 3 comes out and then it already crushes inside of Droid, it's game over, bro. It's game over. Droid now requires adding payment cards to activate the trial. Oh, interesting. I think they just got probably super overwhelmed. That makes sense. Can't wait to see how powerful Gemini. Yeah. AMP is my favorite so far. Unfortunately, Droid didn't stick. You know, I'll have to try AMP's recent features because now they have the free model as well. So that'd be a really cool comparison to see if like I can give it this type of spec and this type. Yo, family, are we back? I think we're back. I had a connection issue, which was really strange. And I lost connection because I guess my house Wi-Fi is kind of messing up. So I'm just going to see if I can continue going here. I've had some issues because I guess it's the Wi-Fi's in my environment, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I think we're back, fam. Let me know if we're back. It looks like everything kind of came back up, which was really great. I'm glad everyone kind of stuck around. So yeah, while I had some connection issues, I think we're totally back. We are so back, right? Yay! All right, drop the comments if this is live and it's actually working for you. So I know this is the last thing we're working on. All right, cool. So as of now, it looks like it's already done. Okay. I thought my internet, my bad. I know, because like usually my connection quality is so smooth, right? So, but we're Gucci now. So let's just kind of read through what's happening. So we approved the spec. It's going to do its thing. It's now working on this type of code. And so it updated the gallery to include the generated images plus the original's pending process states. So it keeps our current pagination. So bun run lints. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this here. Bun run x convex dev. And then I'm just going to run bun run build just to make sure our stuff builds correctly. Let me just review these changes as well. So, all right, cool. Good day, Ray. Paul from Australia joining late. Hey. I thought Starlink went off. Oh yeah, my bad. I know, right? We're so back. We're so back. I'm so glad we're back. So this is really nice, actually. Actually, it's really nice. I love this Ecamm Live software. It looks like it was able to recover pretty smoothly. So that I actually really appreciate. So huge shout out to Ecamm Live. Y'all are killing it right now. Literally, probably. Okay, so I can't really see past this thing. So I like to review my code. Can I just pop this out? Can I open a new window? Or move to new window. Okay, cool. Yeah, so like I like to review my diffs just to see what it changed. So basically what it did is only show AI images. Okay, so now we're basically pushing the image as soon as it's completed. And once the image is pending or processing, it's going to push the newest generated image into the view. And so that way, when we like send it off to Google, it's going to finish its processing and do that type of thing. If image is generated is true, +1 total equals +1, return total. What? Oh, using index-based approach. Okay, so we're using an index-based approach to get the total of images, and we're going to add that into the view so they can have some type of calculation done. Okay, whatever. I think this will work though. Yeah. Okay. GPT-5, you surprised me sometimes. Okay. So we're here at Convex. Let me just go ahead and run this. Bun dev, and then I should be able to upload some images. Cool. So let's go back here. So now we're going to be running this thing. All right, cool. All right. So I'm going to drag and drop another image. So I'm going to go thumbnails. I'm going to do the thumbnail I did today. Let's just see what happens. So now we're in the uploading phase. We have this here and it says transformation credit down below, which is cool. And then this should now pop in as soon as it's complete. So I'm just going to resize this a little bit so that we should see it's currently processing. It's complete. And then now we should push this back up, hopefully. Moment of truth. Oh, I think we're stuck, fam. I think we're stuck. Yeah, see, I see the post request. So yeah, I think it's so stuck. Because if I go to localhost 3000, open up another instance, I see the updated image here, but we're then stuck processing over here. So yeah, this doesn't update live. While the image is done, it's, this is kind of funny actually. Like this is actually really cool. I like this anime leak in this type of thing because look at this. This is actually fire. Bro, Nano Banana is hilarious. But you can see actually we're stuck. So I need to kind of iterate on this. So I'm going to tell it this here. I did our first test and I was able to see that the backend. Oh, let's see. Copy this thing. Perfect. I think that's what's going on. Okay. Whoops. Let me just exit this. Okay. I did my first upload and I'm able to see that the backend is successfully generating the image, but on the front end, we're still showing the blur with a little circle and it never gets replaced with the generated image. If I open up a new web browser and I go to the gallery view, I'm able to see the generated image. So clearly we're dealing an issue here with a transition state. And I want to share some more of these logs because after the fact, I'm seeing these logs come in. And then pasting in that type of thing. And then I'm going to hit enter and then let Droid work on that. And then I'm just going to Command J out of here. And cool. So now hopefully Droid should just continue this debugging process here for fixing this. So diagnose this, right? And so it's going to look into the components. And I have an agents MD file in my components area. And so it's just kind of reading those lines there. Okay, cool. Hello from Romania. Awesome, man. Great to see ya. What you cooking? Yeah, this project is really fun. I think I'm ready to start like productizing this, and it will be going live pretty soon. So I want to get, and then I actually didn't realize like I have 100 like users on my people who have actually been trying this, which I'm really kind of blown away. I want to also test this little blurs thing. Yeah, this is so cool. Awesome. I like this type of thing. Droid is the best. I built a full MCP tool and integrated with Claude app. Holy smokes. Dude, 100%. I know. I have a friend of mine who did some Swift stuff, 100% vibe coded. I'm like, bro, just using Droid. And so he was pretty impressed. He tried a second time and he had a bunch of issues. Like it didn't follow the implementation. So I got to catch up with him on that and see what's happening in terms of like, and also like his patterns for coding too. So in Swift, it preferred the MVVM pattern, like model view model pattern. And like, to me, it sort of overcomplicates it a little bit because of the way that the structure that most people are kind of writing. I call it like modern Swift because a lot of people are taking this older way of thinking things and just kind of applying it to the newest tool. And there's many approaches, but I feel like I always like to keep things lightweight, to be honest. And if I kind of have been enjoying learning React a little bit and learning Next.js because it does get you thinking these little smaller components in like runtime loops. And then just kind of isolating code to very specific things that you do. So, and there's a really cool patterns that I'm learning about just from web development and stuff and getting my hands dirty. So I'm hoping that I can get this issue fixed because once I fix this issue with images, then I'll be able to get a lot of people people can sign up today and I'll be, but I think the cost can go up pretty fast if I don't kind of fix some of these issues first before launch. And once this critical issue is fixed, it'll just be turning on like the actual payments. So, because right now people can send me payments, but it doesn't really go anywhere. It's like a fake payment thing. It's called a sandbox. And so if they put in credit card information that no one gets billed, it's just saying, hey, thanks for testing the building or something like that. And that's from Polar. Yeah, so that's what it is. Sonnet 4.5 feels crazy, good Android. You know what? I might do that next if this doesn't solve it with Codex. Because I have actually really enjoyed using Sonnet 4.5 inside of Cursor. And, theoretically, it's kind of hard to benchmark the two because Cursor, I don't know if Cursor has a CLI, right? But I don't know what the terminal bench scores is if they've even benchmarked against that. Good afternoon from the Canary. Is it Canary Islands or Canary Islands? So Droid is the deal. I have max subs in major providers now. Just wondering if this is going to be another plan. So they have a plan that's $200 and it gives you 200 million tokens. And so with those tokens, you can use them for these models. And there's a multiplier. So if you're using the Sonnet models 1.2x, which means after like 5 requests, you're going to basically eat up an extra one, right? And so I think you kind of have to do the math in terms of like what you're planning to do. And also like, what does Droid solve for you as well? After that, it's also pay per use. And so I don't know. It's kind of up in the air. And that's kind of why I like to try these different things. And I have been really enjoying Cursor's latest plan mode, plus the execution with their agents and the iteration loop that kind of happens thereafter. So like a lot of this of me copying things and put it back into the CLI, it's like I don't really have to do that in Cursor. And that's been a really, really smooth experience. And with Droid here, we're kind of taking a look and seeing, after the latest updates, how is everything actually still rolling for us here? So what do they say? It's reading these files, no directory access. Okay. So investigate the gallery UI. So the thing is, a Codex model is really slow in this view. So that's a bummer. Because I feel like Codex in the actual plugin up here is pretty fast with OpenAI's GPT thing. So yeah. Cool. Oh, Canary Islands. Yeah. I love the Canary Islands. I've never been there, but everything I've read about it's just so amazing. It's like the Hawaii of like Europe. And I like tropical weather, and I tend to be like in that type of environment. So I'm just curious to see what it's thinking. Are you thinking what I'm thinking, guys? I'm hoping we solve this problem because that'd be really fire. Yeah. Fully Droid pill. Let's go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Try Quen on Droid very fast. Yeah, let me see if I can pop in another terminal window and see what's going on here. Droid. These are the droids model. So yeah, what provider are you using for Quen? I'm just really curious. Because there's GLM and there's Haiku. Oh, Haiku would be an interesting test here too, because Haiku is supposed to be really fast. That would be really cool. Like just implement the spec in Haiku. That would be interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of different options here. It's just really hard to test all of them all at the same time. You know what I mean? But I think that's kind of why I like to do these live streams, kind of hang out with y'all. Install the Quen CLI first. Okay. I thought I had it installed, but I don't remember. Okay, so this thing is still freaking out. Let's see, Quen. Quen code. I probably have to update it. It's been a while. So from npm, brew install Quen code. Okay, so terminal, which Quen? Oh, okay. So I had Quen as a shortcut to Claude Code, and I would feed in the API directly. That's right. And then if I do Quen-code, I don't think I have that installed. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to install it so that way I have like the official. And then, okay, brew install Quen. Yeah, okay. So then I'll probably have to remove that shortcut so that it can install itself. Okay. Yeah, I'll probably do some of that a little bit later. And then there's a way to pay for it, right? Because I forget. Let's change this to English. Because I don't think it's free, right? There's like so I do kind of, okay. So I remember going down this long rabbit hole, and this is kind of the reason why I didn't recommend it, because I had to go to Alibaba's site to get an API key, and it was like an AWS type portal, and it took way too many steps and too long to get the API key. And then when I was initiating it, it wasn't working initially after I put my credit card information in. And it was just like, oh my God, this is too crazy. So I probably won't be doing that in this stream, and I'll probably play with it more offline to kind of get some more procedures, because it wasn't really straightforward to get it all working. And then there were two different endpoints at the time. The endpoint I was hitting was in China by default, and I had to set it to the US endpoint. And so I'm pretty sure they've resolved all those issues, but at first launch, it was really, really crazy and hairy. And I think I told people it's not worth their time right now. It could be later, but right now it wasn't. And so, and then there's different model providers that provided Quen as well, like in Grok and so forth. And each of them have different results. So that's a whole nother rabbit hole. Yeah, for sure. But I appreciate you bringing it up. I think I really appreciate that. That's really cool. And so, okay. Yeah. All right, cool. We're still waiting. Yeah, it just takes a long time right now. Which model do you think is the best for most cases? I built my full MCP using Claude Code Sonnet 4.5 Medium, and it worked great. Personally, I didn't think GPT-5 codecs at all. It just depends. If like you're working with UI and stuff, I do find Claude Sonnet to be really, really good, the 4.5 one. And especially if you have plans ahead of time. So my combo like very recently has been Cursor in plan mode plus Sonnet 4.5, max thinking with the little brain icon. So that way you get the max tokens. You have a 1,000,000 token context window with that. And then you just really just go to town. It's really, really nice. And then before I was just using, the CLI. So like Droid CLI with Codex and then GPT-5 High. So GPT-5 High was my planner. And then before that, I was using Claude Code with, so like when I first started, I was like, hey, Claude Code with Opus for planning is amazing. And then I shove it over into, Sonnet and then do the rest of the stuff. And that was kind of like the bigger breakthrough. And it's funny because I did that all on vacation. And then it kind of Claude Code started blowing up. I was like, oh, something started happening here. So yeah, that was kind of the magic of things. And that's kind of really where it's all started. And now we're here. And as of now, I think, yeah, just keep experimenting. If you feel like and I think it all depends on your own stack, by the way. So like this goes all across the board for different types of apps that you're building. If people are doing Swift, some people are having better luck with GPT-5 versus Sonnet 4.5. And if you're doing like UI, UX stuff in React or some type of framework like that, people are like preferring the Sonnets 4.5 stuff because you can build pretty fast and iterate quickly. So that's where we're at right now. And so we're trying to fix this bug, and it's just having a bunch of read errors, and I don't really know what's going on. So yeah, this agent's taking forever. To be honest, it's been like 14 minutes and we haven't really done much. We fixed one part of the bug, but then we still have this regression, and it's taking very long time. Like unacceptably long. I want to just kick it. Let's see, it's just reading files. It's trying to, what's going on? Illegal directory? Yeah, it's kind of lost. All right, should we, I'm just gonna Control C it and say, try again, continue. I'm just trying to kick it. All right. Okay. Have I gotten familiar with the full AMP agent using the Oracle sub-agents and the main agents to develop features or plan specs? So this is something that I want to get back into because initially when I was working on it, like a little while back, I wasn't really impressed with the Oracle because I had basically, my favorite thing to do is kind of yap into like an Oracle-like thing and try to have it generate a plan. And you know, when I met with the team, they said like, instead of doing that way, you should just break everything down into smaller chunks and have the language model do that. And while I appreciate that, I feel like I was looking for like a much greater solution. And right now, what the Cursor team has kind of baked up and what the Droid teams have baked up is like the spec mode, right? Spec mode in Droid and Cursor's plan mode. And so I want to revisit the actual AMP thing to see if they've actually improved on that with their Oracle as well, because that's kind of where I feel like I used to have these big ideas or specs, or it's like, I want to do this and help me generate a plan for this. And so that's usually where I got this clarity for Cursor. So as an example, I want to show you what I actually do, like one of my workflows and how I generated one of my plans. So in Cursor, I'll show you actually what I'm going to do is go into their agent mode because it's much easier to display while this other thing's kind of running in the background. So today, what I did was I think I forked a plan. I saw some regressions and I wanted to fix some regressions. So this is kind of where I went into plan mode, and this is kind of what I yapped into it. And this is kind of how we generate this really beautiful plan that we're actually working on now. And so in here, I said, first I want, this is actually what I do. This is exactly what I do. And this is why I wasn't really impressed with AMP, because it wasn't initially taking, the Oracle would always fall flat on like trying to implement like all these different things that I wanted all kind of in once, because I just wanted to all organize everything. And that's where I found Claude Code with Claude Opus in plan mode to be like somewhat better at this. But Droids kind of started to cover that gap with specs. And then now Cursor's covering that gap in plan mode. And what I did here was like, first, I want you to generate a client server side architecture diagram. So we understand the workflow from a user uploading an image to that then being displayed in my app. And second, I want to also be able to see the work on the optimizations in my app so that the images take advantage of all of the Next.js 15 image optimizations along with Vercel optimizations. As of now, when a user clicks my images, they'll be able to load in. And I remember Lee Robinson talking about optimistic rendering and a lot of other techniques that we can utilize for our Next.js 15, Tailwind CSS v4, and ChatTN components. This plan step is more of an audit, so feel free to think harder about this because I was using a Sonnet model. And so we can iterate to make sure we don't miss any important details. You can use ref MCP, exec code MCPs to help you do this work so you get the most up-to-date documentation for planning. And then what I had to do here is I want you to basically, with Cursor, you can do @branch diff with main branch. So this creates a diff of what you're working on. Every time I'm working on features, I always create a feature branch and I work in there. So that way I have a difference here. And this diff is going to help it with its context. And this is how I did it in my prompting. This is one prompt. I haven't even finished it. Like me typing this out. I want you to do a diff and do a code review. And I want to make sure that we're taking advantage of the convex rules. So that's another big rules file. And following the convex rules best practices, I'm seeing regressions in the gallery after a user uploads an image and it doesn't correctly update the gallery with the blurred image and progress. Once the image is done processing, it doesn't just pop up in the UI because we're using convex. We should make sure that we didn't regress here, as we should be using queries to check the state of the image and then display it when it's ready. I kicked off that plan And then like this is where like cursor plan mode just kind of blew me away, and it still continues to blow me away of how good it is, right? So it says, I'll create a comprehensive plan. This is it doing queries with the MCPs to understand what the latest documentation is. So it's keeping that in the context. And this, this chat didn't really use that much because I already duplicated the chat, and it's doing the diffs now. And then boom, it just generated that really detailed plan, which is like the architecture diagram of all the steps. It even broke down like the front end for what's going on in the client, like the specific steps in like the file that's happening, as well as the back end. So this is the function or the mutation. And then this broke it down in terms of like really readable terms, and then has an arrow pointing down for the client and what's happening there, and also what's happening on Vercel's edge. And then these are the issues that it identified. And this here talks about best practices using Lee Robinson's technique. So he's all over the training data, all over the internet. And of course, like if you mention his name, you're going to get a lot of really good sauce from it. So it's like having Lee next to me coding, right? So it's kind of cool. I don't think he really realizes this yet, but I'm going to tell him later on. And if you know him, just make sure you add him on this. The image component is not. And so like you see how well it broke down all these different phases for us just based off of me yapping. And this is what I was looking for. And I felt like if AMP can do this, I'm all in. Like show me, like right now, Cursor is like the top tier at figuring this stuff out. Like this just happened in the last week or so. So don't be a surprise. Like if it's not one of those things like I didn't know this has been happening for like months type of thing. It's like literally in the last week and a half or so, like this plan mode with Sonnet 4.5. Yeah, right. So it's kind of crazy how fast it changes, but I always like to try to take advantage of everything that as best I can. So it breaks it down like so good. Detailed changes, fix one. That's off one prompt. Like I didn't have to give it further prompts. That was just it. Like you saw what I just asked for it. I asked for a lot of stuff, and it kept all of that going. And it did a lot of research, and it went through my code base. Like look at all the 5 fixes that are coming off of this. A checklist, monitoring metrics, code review, compliant patterns, files to modify, success criteria. Tell me Cursor cooked. Like this is crazy. I don't know about you, but like this helped me organize my thoughts a lot faster and grab the files in my code base way faster than I could have been. Like this would have been a week-long debugging effort just by myself, trying to write everything down, go through all the steps. And even if like I was familiar with the code base, I would still have to write down all these things like, okay, I got to do this, make sure I do these. And then once I update this, update that. And let's like full-time focus on my code base. But I don't know about you, but like I'm also got other things to do with my life. It's like, take care of friends and like family members and other kinds of things. So this is why I'm really excited about the AI coding and also planning as well. And the importance of planning and then coming back to plans and having specs implemented and then chunking them out, right? So I'm basically having phase 1 do some work right now on one of the droids. And then I can even have phase 2 being done, on another thing, or just try it out. If phase 1 doesn't work, I just back out all the changes and try again with a different model or different provider. So I have a really good, solid plan here, and I can dish it out to these other agents. And so at the beginning of the video, I started with Droid and I went into spec mode and I gave it this plan. I said, let's work on phase 1 of this plan. So now Droid has context. It's generating its own little spec to work on phase 1. We approved it, and that's kind of where it moved into what it's doing right now to fix the bugs. It's just taking a little longer with codecs. It's possibly an API issue or something like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. So yeah, I'm anxious to try to reproduce this in AMP and see if it can actually do that, right? So ideally, I would probably just use the AMP premium models, not the free one, because the free one I think is based off of Grok, and Grok isn't really that good. And Cursor I'm already paying for, so I want to compare premium to premium, right? I don't want to compare premium to free because I feel like it's a whole different experience. So yeah, that's my long story for AMP, and kind of why I'm anxious to kind of try it again because of this new workflow that I felt is just absolutely impressive. So yeah, that's that there. And where are we at now with our agents? So it continued. And then now we're actually going to fix the pagination size for page size. Oh, no. Let's see. File contents unchanged. Okay. So we're still going. Okay. Yes, this is the previous code we had before. And then this is the new fix. Let Let me just go to the page app. Let me get rid of this here. It's up here. Move this to the side. Okay, what do we do? So I don't think we changed much. Oh, okay. I really don't like this speed right now. This is really just painfully slow. I bet you if I just do this phase 1 right now in cursor, like this is 24 minutes and it's still running. I'm very impatient. Okay, chat, let me know, like, should we just stop this and just go back to cursor and just use GPT-5 codecs and just see what the difference is in speed? I'm tempted to do that right now because I'm not going to wait another 15 minutes just for this change because I know it should be a lot faster than this. And we hit stop and we hit continue again. So it's possibly like an API third-party issue, or the agent issue is, or the droid is actually having some problems kind of grepping the files and doing what it's doing, because it is really, really slow. And I don't think it should be this slow. Yeah. Do it. Yes. I have a post in Droid about this subject. Yeah, man, this is painfully slow. I would not recommend. I hope Droid makes our similar UI to Claude once they own it to feel better, because I don't really like using CLI tools. And yeah, I like the plugins that they have right now for Codex CLI, which is really our Codex, and it's really, really nice. Also, Claude Code has a nice CLI, so that's another one too. Run them both. Yeah, actually, I think I can run like a workspace in cursor. So in cursor, I can do like this plan, right? We can go start this plan in read detail plan. We should be able to do this in, oh, I think they got rid of it. If I hit new agent, this little thing called the work tree, but I can't do a work tree on an existing. I'm going to have to tell the team about this because yeah, I want to just go like this, hit build, and just have it done in a work tree. So that way I can just kind of do some comparison side by side, because that'd be fire. So yeah, a work tree is like opening up like a new window. It clones a project to a new folder and it does its own thing, has its own basically separate space to work on. So that way you're not overriding things. And it's kind of like a summary of what that is. So yeah, I think, yeah, I'm gonna just stop this, revert the changes, and we're gonna just try that. Oh, try Haiku on Droid. Should we? Should I just go back and just start this thing again and just try Haiku? Oh, man. I kind of want to compare apples to apples, right? Like, I feel like this is not an API issue. I feel like this is because it's just taking so long to read the files. I think this is an issue. I'm just going to stop this. I can't right now. It's too slow. It's way too slow. Okay. So I'm going to revert these changes. And we're going to just do this plan for phase 1. Discard changes. Yes. All right. So we're back to square one again. All right. So now that we're back to square one, what we're going to do is just go back to this plan that I had here. And I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can implement this phase 1. All right. So I was going to say, go ahead and build. Sonnet 4.5. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to say build, I guess. This should be able to take it all the way through with Sonnet 4.5. We have a lot of tokens, so YOLO fam. Maybe factory web will work better. Man, I'm like on device. We've already waited for like 30 minutes and it still didn't really finish this. I bet you like this is going to finish all 5 phases real quick. So as of now, we should, okay, this finished, and okay, cool. And I want to make sure my processes, Command J, just kill these guys for a sec. And then we're going to go back to here. And then, so if I do Command E, this is the agent window, and this is the plan that we're working on. I'm going to get rid of the sidebar and it's going to say build. So we currently have Sonnet 4.5 selected, and we're just going to continue with this because Sonnet 4.5 is really fast, but accepted the plan. Okay. Phase 1 fix. Okay, so now it's going to edit the image files. This is cool. So here it is down below. this is exactly what I was looking at. And it's just going to keep going and doing its thing. All right, cool. Someone says, like, life's too short. I definitely resonate with your workflow. When was the last time you used AMP? I think the last time I used AMP was before GPT-5 release. And it was right when Oracle had not updated to GPT-5. Actually, it was during the GPT-5 release. That's what it was. Because I tried both. I tried Sonnet 4 and I tried GPT-5, like selecting the check mark. And then I tried Oracle and it was still using O3 for the Oracle. And I just was not impressed. Yeah. And I've used O3 for my planning before, and I love O3 for planning. That's actually how I used to do my old school planning before Claude Code. Yeah. I get really torn as to what tools, agents, blah, blah, blah to use for evolving landscape. Seems like there's never a good place to land. I think this stuff updates too fast, man. I think that's what's crazy. And so I'm just coding live and we're going to hang out together, and probably you're coding live too. So I think it's just kind of fun to hang out with everyone and see how these things work. All right. So Sonnet is fast. I bet you it would be fast inside of Droid too. I'm just curious, but I'm telling you, I'm just so in love with this agent. I can't, this is amazing. Look at this. Wow. Now we're on phase 2, add compound index for performance. Let's go. Yeah, this is what I called out for first 2 rows. Perfect. I actually had to change these in my plans to instead of 4 to 8. So that was perfect. I found that. Image preview. This is beautiful. I love these. And so Cursor's agent window has this thing called agent changes. So you can see what's happening across the agent as it's doing the thing in here. So we're seeing so instead of tabbing through the way I was doing, I could just go through and see, where the actual changes are. I like this view. And I think this is a view that used to be in Zed's code editor. And so they've sort of adopted that similar UI concept. And it's really good. So now we have public images. And so the modals are critical when opened. Priority is false here. Okay, cool. This is looking good. Image preview. Set string set. Processing. I bet you this is going to work first try. Dang. So page show generated images and processing originals for real-time feedback. Hide complete originals. Their generated version shows instead. This is where it pops in the generated version. This is great. This is awesome. I'm liking these changes. Hero gallery view. Let's see. Great. So high quality for the thumbnails and lower quality for small thumbnails, higher quality for hero showcase. Yeah, makes sense. This is the actual homepage view. So on the homepage. This is awesome. So if I go here, I'll show you what that homepage is. animeleak.com. And so this is what they're talking about. Cool. Let's see. Awesome. So what agents are you guys driving with right now? What's your daily driver for these AI agents? Are you coding with Droid? Are you Claude Code? Are you Codex pilled? Are you Cursor pilled right now? Are you windsurfing? Are you... How many of them are there? Jesus. I feel like I could just keep going. Quen CLI. People are using open code. What subscription plans are you on? Also, how much money are you spending a month? Are you spending $1,000 a month like me right now? I haven't even told you that I got $40 a month BugBot. All right. So if I ever get a partner, they're not going to find out about this credit card bill right now. Sheesh. Yeah. That's what's up. I'm using Claude and Droid. Droid seems okay, but once Warp sorts out the MCP support, it's going to be very mainstream. The hype is actually real. So I've been wanting to try that out. Warp.dev. From prompt to function. Curious, is anyone using AMP? Are you using the AMP free one as well? So just also curious about that. But Codex has been slow. I use Windsurf and Droid. Okay. I'm using Claude and Droid. Oh, I see. Yeah, Claude. Yeah, Claude is probably really good. Claude Code. Yes. This guy is pilled. Droid, Cursor, Claude Code with GLM 4.6. That's actually one of them I wanted to try because I think it's super duper cheap too. Yeah, Claude. Warp is very good. Okay. Dang. So this is basically just all in a CLI, right? I mean, or it's like it's its own thing, build features. This is not a VS Code fork, right? This is his own little. Okay, so let's learn about this. A new way to code the agentic development environment. So developers using Warp save on average an hour a day from unlocking. Okay, that's cool. Isn't this a fork of something? I forgot all about this. Okay, IDE, CLI, 52% terminal bench. Okay. It's not a VS Code fork. Is it like root coders? One of the coders forked each other's, right? Like there's this fork families. Start with the prompt. Okay. Agent writes the code. So this is kind of it. And then review and prompt. Yes, I think this is Warp. So this is what I was thinking about. So the agent window in Cursor really reminds me of this UI. This looks cool. This looks like a CLI. Warp is great just for autocomplete for terminal commands, but not coding. What type of coding? I used to be sold on Cursor. This is from Yelp. There's a Yelp review? Like, y'all, Warp is on Yelp? Or is he from Yelp? Like, I don't know. Like, kind of confused on this whole thing. Full development lifecycle. Okay. I'm not going to lie. This landing page hits, though. This landing page really is fire. So access all your content through MCP. So this does have MCP support. You're probably saying it doesn't work as well. Pricing. Oh, okay. AI credits. $15 a month, $40 a month for 10,000. How many credits do you burn through a day? I'm really curious if you're using Warp. And then like which ones do they cost more if you're using the better models or not? Okay. Dang, Lightspeed, $200. Huh. Warp has an agent too. It has features like Claude Code, but not that great when it codes. Okay. MCP support is lame. No. Managing environment variables via Warp is challenging. Okay. Interesting. Is Warp good, y'all? Yeah, I don't know. Wow. Cool. You know, it'd be funny if somebody actually works for Warp and they're pretending to be someone like they're like low key trying to sneak in advertising. You'll get banned fast. Anyways, it doesn't matter. I think it's really just about the community coming here to share support. So I don't really care. Like I'm so like in love with playing around with all these types of things. I don't like, feel free to drop in anything. Don't be afraid to like share any information because I feel like it's super helpful for all of us. So one easy prompt and one answer in Sonnet can cost like 10 credits on Warp. Oh, because it's like doing multiple calls. Okay, that's interesting. Bro, I'm finding Cursor right now is very relevant. Clodix CLI is great value for plus subscription and using AMP, Devon on demand depending on the scope and the task, and ultimately Claude Code's 5x max plan. Oh, so you're kind of like me, basically just kind of going all around with all the agents. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing too. I'm round tripping all of them. Like sometimes Codex CLI is good. Like sometimes Codex, the plugin is really good. Sometimes I want a task that just sends out to the cloud for research with Codex. Like go ahead and implement these 4 things in the cloud. Come back. I could snap it back into Cursor. Cursor's background agents are awesome. I send it to the background agent, select a specific model, and just let it go. Yeah, this is interesting. Yeah. Codex plugin is pretty dope. Okay. Yeah, I like the plugin a lot, especially in Cursor. I put it on my work app. After 6 hours, my whole credit's gone with Warp. Damn. Warp was good, but I expected more for $20. That sounds pretty good for $20, actually. I would rank Warp second place below Droid. Dang, bro. Yeah, I gotta try some of these too. Yeah, okay. Okay, so this is like the thing I absolutely hate about Claude. So reactivity performance audit. So it likes to write these files for itself to kind of pat itself in the back. It's like, yo fam, like I did a whole bunch of work. So here's a whole document file. I got to head out in like a couple minutes because I have to go to a meeting, but I want to make sure that this plan can actually work. Cause I think we just totally annihilated this whole plan, like all phases in one shot, low key. This is kind of crazy. Hey guys, do you think this cooks? Does it cook, fam? Bun X convex dev. Bro, I think, look at all these changes. Bun dev. Wow. Okay, so let's go. The functions are being deployed. Okay. Oh, push the new table for the index. Looks good. Let me just redo this here. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So we should now have the new site loaded. Let's go ahead and upload a photo again. I'm going to delete the old one. Share settings, delete. Yes. Okay. So now we're back here. And now let's go ahead and do Droid AMA thing. So now we should have this thing here, has the blurs. And what we should see now is that the generate image comes back from Google Gemini. And then that should push back into here and saying it's already done. And we shouldn't have to do anything. So here it is, finished. All right, the moment of truth. Oh, I don't see it coming back. No. Oh, we didn't fix the bug yet. It's just stuck at the little pinwheel thing. Bummers. Okay. Yes, caught you live. What's up from Sweden? Awesome. Initially used it in heavy, but Warp is with it. Warp to give 2,500 credits for $20, but gets used up like in a project scaffolding, minor changes. Oh, I see. Okay, so it sounds like people like are running out pretty fast. Okay, interesting. 4.5 tends to generate massive amounts of documentation whenever you do anything. Yeah, that's kind of not my favorite part because I have my own way of doing documentation in my rules files and it prefers to do that. So I'm just going to tell Cursor that we're stuck here. So where's my app? Okay. So we're still stuck. So I uploaded the image and it's still showing this screen here, despite the backend showing the image generation has completed. And it looks like the UI on the front end doesn't really finish updating. I need you to take a look here. And then I just want to grab any relevant files like here. And paste and then go. All right. So yeah, this is hopefully like in this one more fix, we should be able to get this here. And then what I'm going to go back into here, I'm going to go back and just kind of kill these guys here. Okay. And the issue, but the front end, let me investigate save generated image mutation and see if there's a problem with how it generated. Okay. Where is that? I think that's not in my schema. It's probably in here. Saved it. Is being called with undefined for height width placeholder, but more importantly, we need to check if the generated image is actually getting the URL. So let me verify the query is working correctly. So here we are. Let me check convex dev dashboard output to verify generated. Interesting. Oh, I see. Oh, wow. It's actually running the convex function because I gave it the actual code and it's actually checking to see if this actually ran. So it sees that it generated the image. So it's actually doing a command line directly to my convex database to see if this is in there. And it does see it as part of the log. That's freaking smart. This is really cool to watch. Okay, so then what's it doing now? This is good. It did generate. Now let's see what's actually happening. So let's check the paginated query. The image exists. Let's check if the original image was properly updated to complete it. Let me look at the specific image. This is crazy. Yeah, I like that it's doing this automagically, if you know what I mean. And we've only used, 211,000 tokens. So it's like, 100K tokens or less than that for the feature. Because we already started off with an existing context of the plan and debugging earlier. So that's interesting. Cool. Wow. Wowza. All right. So still showing, even after the completion, should be hidden. And the spinner is still showing because the front end hasn't refreshed. The problem is that generated image should now be visible and the original should be hidden, but the front end state isn't updating. Let me check the React state synchronization issue. So now it's kind of got a better, this is cool. It did a lot of debugging for us, which I'm really impressed by. Found the issue. It's the original. Okay, according to my query logic, this image should be hidden because it's completed and originals are filtered out. Yes, so there's a filter logic issue basically here. So now it's adding images, and now it's logging update image IDs, and now it's logging replace images with first page, and now it's actually, so first page replace all image handles, and so let me add logging to the query backend to see what's happening. So it's actually adding logging to all these places so that we can track to see what it's returning. That's interesting. So So let me add logging. Now let's see what the console shows, but I suspect the issue might be that the query isn't rerunning. So let me add logging. Okay. I think I found the problem. The use Memo wrapper around might be preventing the updates. That's probably it. So we're going to re-render a lot. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, I got a couple minutes left before I got to leave. So I think it's kind of interesting how by it adding logging, it's kind of finding the bug by itself. It's really fascinating to watch the agent work like this. And so it's removing these and just having use paginated query for better performance like this. And then out here, it says use credits, derived values for credits from here. Okay. Epic. So it's removed this work here, and then it's using the paginated query for the better performance. So that would probably make it much more reactive, which would probably fix this issue. Huh. That's cool. Let's see, Bunix convex dev. Let me just run that. This is great. I like the changes so far. So refresh. This should already be completed. I'm just going to delete that. All right. Delete. Okay. Now we're going to upload an image. Here we are. Awesome. And then we should see the transformation. It should complete, and then we should be done. Okay. I got like 30 seconds left. Okay. It looks like it's done, right? Generate image, almost. No. Functions ready, using Gemini. Successfully generated image, but then we're still stuck. Okay. Okay. Yeah. If still stuck, we are still stuck. Okay. So I have to go because I have a 12 o'clock call, and we're at 420 people who are watching live. So shout out to everyone on X, shout out to everyone on YouTube. I will be back, and I'll probably be back tomorrow if you're wanting to check out some things. My name is Ray Fernando, and I appreciate you kind of tuning into the stream and having us check out this stuff. Feel free to subscribe, share this with a friend if you kind of enjoyed hanging out. And I'm just going to be hanging out with you more often here on my AI Coding Live. So I'll catch y'all later. Peace.